Resident Evil 6.
Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, introducing you to my Resident Evil 6 professional difficulty video walkthrough. This is the third section of the fourth chapter to Leon's campaign, and I'm doing the thing that your guys should be getting into the habit of doing pretty much all the time, and that is making sure every weapon is fully loaded so that you don't put yourself in a really stupid situation that involves getting Stalloned by reloads. Because the amount of times on this game where I've gone to switch to a gun to manage a situation like a crowd, and Leon started thumbing shells into it, or started ejecting the magazine, and you end up getting grabbed, it's never a fun time. And the only way to remedy that is to always be prepared. And you can't complain about it because it's in pretty much every game. It's just in other games you seem to not be penalised as much as you do in this one. And this next video that you're about to see, guys, is not the best method through this level because I don't know this level all that well. This is one of the most contrived sections of the game. It is literally, here's a bunch of unkillable enemies that are going to chase you around a market in Kowloon, and you have to find 3 keys and open a door. Yeah, it's about as contrived as it gets. And the thing with it is, I don't know the path through this area, so I get lost a little bit while I'm looking for the ladders and things, and it's one of those frustrating moments where I know what to do, I just didn't know where to do it. And yeah, the guy definitely suffers because of this, but this is not a section anyone's going to get really stuck on, so I don't think it's going to affect it all that much. It's just one of those things where, why the fuck is it this in the game? It's just, I'm not even going to go into it. There are so many different ways they could have played this environment, because it's a really cool looking environment, and instead, it's just this fucking, headless chicken bloody birdie song. And the funniest part of this guide for me is when I post videos mocking this game just to see all the super try-hard defenders. Like, these people would sell sand to Arabs. That's how fucking high they are with the replies. And they have such little imagination. It just amazes me. It's like, if people are really that impressed by this game, go play Ocarina of Time. Either that or fuck off, because this game has done nothing. Absolutely nothing to this franchise. All it's done is introduced a bunch of gameplay mechanics that it probably should have had a long time ago, and it's done them poorly. That is literally it. So these people that have so much respect and so much reverence for this title, please save that energy and put it into a game that deserves it, because this fucking doesn't. And it's so strange just to see these completely deluded people. And that's not everybody that likes this game. There are a legitimate bunch of people that have enjoyed this game for what it is, because they've realised it has issues, they've got over those issues, and then they've just kind of played it and loved it for what it is. And that is an extremely difficult thing to do, but it's also something we all do in all walks of life. Just look at Jerry Springer. Look at all those fucking retards that go on that programme. Even more so, just look at all those retards that can't get on that programme and sit at home watching it all day. And if you're one of those people that does that, I'm not calling you a retard, because I watch that program, and there's just, sometimes you just can't help but watch it. You can't help but watch those programs, because you sit there thinking, where do these people come from? How do these people stay alive? Like, when you buy a new microwave or you buy something and it has that little silica packet in it that says do not eat, the people who watch that show all day and can't get on it are the people that ate that fucking packet and died. And that is why we have a warning. Because, seriously, these are the same people that are like babies. They put everything in their mouth. They have to be guided across the street because they'll get run over because they're that thick. It's like, these people shouldn't be alive. Darwin writ every principle he ever did when he was staring and observing those kind of people. Because, nature should kill them because they're fucking... They're making the planet heavier than it needs to be. But bringing back to the original point, this subculture of, Jerry Springer watching, wife beating, no job, benefits, complete just leech on resource, and That's not everybody who's in that situation, because this is not me condemning that, because there's a lot of really legitimate people that are in that. I'm talking about the ones who are pretty much don't want to work, pretty much don't want to do anything but sit and watch TV, and, you know, have got no imagination, no creativity, and provide nothing. Those are the people that this is pointing at. Those people put themselves in these terrible situations, and they generally drag down everybody around them. For instance, if they've got a wife, she could be the most awesome person, the most beautiful, brilliant, intelligent girl ever, and the husband beats her up, the husband treats her like shit. He's treated her like shit for so long, she believes that she is a piece of shit now because she's been conditioned to do so. These kind of people, like, they put up with these relationships because they delude themselves into thinking that everything is fine and they can't get anything better. And this happens a lot, folks. It doesn't even have to be as, you know, hyperbolic as I'm making it out, which is completely ridiculous, but they put up with so much. And to take it off a more, you know, socially applicable rant and a more colourful metaphor that's more fun, music. A good CD. Here's a good one for me, because this is probably something that a lot of people will disagree with me on. System of a Down are a band I used to love when I was younger, because I was into, you know, pretty standard metal choices / new metal, hard rock, and I didn't really know too much about music. I just knew that there was certain stuff I liked and certain stuff I didn't, and it's pretty much the same perspective I have right now. And the thing with System of a Down is everybody heard the song Chop Suey. Everybody heard it. Why did they hear it? Because it was everywhere. It was on every fucking music station. It was on repeat. It was almost viral. This was before I even had the internet, so I can't really say it was viral. It was the equivalent to it, and everybody got into the band because of that song. A buddy of mine borrowed me the album, which was, I think it's Toxicity, or Toxic City, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I prefer Toxicity because it sounds cool. And the album was great. It was a fantastic album. Couldn't knock it at all. It was fun, it was, you know, different, it was cool, it was, you know, unconventional, and everybody fell in love with System of a Down. If you were like me, you then went back and looked at their older catalogue because you had friends who were into them for a long time and had their older albums, and you listened to their old stuff, the self-titled stuff, and you got into Sugar, you got into, you know, all the old, you know, I would say better music that they'd made, because the older stuff for System, in my opinion, is just stronger. It's just more kooky. They don't, you know, have any real audience at that point, so they're doing what they want, and it's really good music. And then you warp forward to a couple of years when they made the double album, which was Hypnotize and Mesmerize, and I'm sorry guys, if you like it, awesome. I think those two albums are the worst fucking albums ever. There is absolutely no redeeming factors about those albums, because for me, System of a Down just changed. They turned into something different, you know, something I didn't enjoy. And for a band that I look forward to their releases because it was really fun, it wasn't for me, and I didn't like it. But there's a lot of people who will listen to an album they don't like until it starts sounding good, because it just starts to resonate, it starts to make more sense, and you eventually turn your opinion around. And a lot of this can be due to the complexities of songs and of music itself, but a lot of the times it's just sheer stubbornness making you like something. And a lot of people will do that, but I've got to the point with my musical maturity, which is what I do call it, because I personally don't think there is any bad music, even though I talk a lot of shit about other genres. I just think there is music that you're at a certain maturity level that you can't appreciate it, because everyone's music taste is different, and everyone's music taste will evolve throughout your lifetime. And I think, you know, sometimes there's just certain music that doesn't sound good to you, and it could literally be from a vibration point of view, because at the end of the day we're all, you know, vibrating atoms, and sound itself is just, you know, waves of vibrations, and it could literally be that you are biologically wired to dislike a certain type of music. I know that's probably a radical, ridiculous theory, but it could be something as silly as that. And like, you will condition yourself to like things, and a lot of people do this with everything. They do it with films, you know. We all love Star Wars. We watched the new films. Some of them were pretty lacking, but we still kind of told ourselves they were good films because we like Star Wars. A lot of other people just kind of went, fuck this shit, this is not what we wanted, this is not what it should have been, they completely missed the point. And you do this with everything. It's, you know, it's a coping mechanic when something does not meet your expectations. The difference being is, I don't have the patience for that anymore. I really don't, so if you're going to have reverence for a game, have it for a game that deserves it, because this game does not. You know, it doesn't. All this game does for me personally is make Resident Evil 5 look like a significantly better game, and I did not think Resident Evil 5 was all that good of a game because Dead Space happened, you know? And there's a metaphor that just popped into my head then, but I'm going to hold back because half of my audience is American and a lot of people will probably get offended by it. But, you know, when something changes the playing field, you have to change with it, you have to evolve with it, because if you don't, you're just going to fail. And unfortunately, Capcom released a business statement saying that they were going to make less new IPs, more sequels, quicker turnarounds on the games. They were effectively going to do the Call of Duty Battlefield / Assassin's Creed mentality towards trying to get into this competitive market of reusing assets and pumping out a game every 12 months. And a lot of people love that because a lot of people support that mentality. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Call of Duty player, I love Call of Duty, so I do enjoy the fact that you get a new game every year. But at the same time, it can't always be that way, or the death of creativity will be witnessed. You need new IPs to keep broadening the horizon. You need these new players to go with these daring choices to make the industry better. And, you know, for every bad game that comes out, you do generally get a good game and a new IP and a new series that you can be excited about. And if developers are just not willing to do it, it's just going to be like the movies right now. And anybody that follows films will also know that, you know, the box office is dying. It's not doing nowhere near as well as it used to be, and there's a lot of reasons for this, be it piracy, be it, you know, nobody goes to the fucking theatre anymore. There's a lot of reasons for it, but at the same time, it's because there's no originality at all. And a lot of people are looking away from Hollywood and they're looking to, you know, world cinema. They're looking to Korea, they're looking to Japan, they're looking to Spain, and all sorts of different places where they don't have the budgets of these ridiculous fucking Hollywood movies, but what they do have is a good story. They have good characters. They actually have, you know, a narrative that has ups and downs. There's a progression that you watch, and that's what, you know, creativity is. Creativity is a craft that doesn't necessarily need, you know, AAA budget. It's just such good writing, such, you know, good vision, that it comes together and it gives you something that you haven't seen before, or it gives you something fresh. And the biggest irony of this topic that I'm talking about right now is that I'm doing it on this game, because there is nothing in this game that's new. Nothing. And that might seem like a complete, you know, contradictions in terms for somebody that says that they enjoy Call of Duty, but I enjoy Call of Duty for the mechanics. It's the same reason I enjoy Devil May Cry and games of that nature, because the game has such an impressive, you know, feel and responsiveness that no other game can manage. No other game feels like a Call of Duty. Like, Halo 4's about to drop, and a lot of people are really excited for it. I am not a Halo fan. I've never been a Halo fan. I'm the guy that used to be like, fuck Halo, I'd rather play GoldenEye, because I would. And that doesn't mean that Halo's a bad game, that just means that it's never been to my taste. And that game's going to come out, and I'm saying and a lot. Look at me go, rolling with this fucking never-ending sentence. Halo's got a lot of changes in this new game. It looks faster, it's got interesting little tweaks. Halo feels like a Halo game. It does in every single way. And it will always feel that way. And if it doesn't, people will complain because they go to Halo for how it feels. Some of the people go for the story, but I don't really understand that. But it doesn't feel like Call of Duty, and nor should it. People don't want that. They want a Halo game. And this is exactly what, you know, these sequels that do proliferate these franchises do well, and that is what you go to them for. We go to Assassin's Creed because we know there's a polished game there. We know there's a game that works, and we know that there's going to be a new story, there's going to be new secrets, and there's going to be subtle iterations that are different. You come to Resident Evil 6 expecting, you know, an improvement on already well-defined systems, and you get systems that have been in place a long time that are now bad, and you get these new systems that add nothing to the game except for frustration, because they don't work as well as they should. And, I mean, look look at this. This is in the game, guys. This is a room filled with tiny fucking Skeletor toy thrones that are attacking you. There's no words for this sequence. This is the same developer that scripted the village sequence in Resident Evil 4. This is the same developer that, you know, scripted the police station in Resident Evil 2. What do we get in the most recent, most up-to-date, most modern version? The room filled with fucking, you know, circular things that electrocute you. What are these things? What are they? Why are they here? This is like Ghostbusters in an alternative universe where the traps are autonomous. It makes no sense. And you know when I'm sat and I want to play a game, the first thing that comes into my mind is, my God, I'd love to shoot some sliding discs on the floor with a shotgun, because that's just what gets me off. It's fucking... Oh, it's so good. It is so good. It really is. And I'm all for silly sequences in games, but this is beyond silly. This is just that point where you think, out of everybody in that office, and there was clearly a lot of people working on this game because there's a lot of art generated, there's a lot of, you know, unique areas. Who thought of this? Who thought this was a good part? Like, the person who thought of that section is the same guy who thought of the fucking climbing up the cable with the L and R trigger nonsense. Like, how do these people stay in the job? I don't get it. I really don't. Like, did you see that just then? That is Resident Evil 6. That is a cutscene that you come out of and an enemy immediately attacks you because the enemy was moving while you were in the cutscene. You couldn't move. You couldn't dodge. You didn't have the reflexes to know that was going to happen. How is that fair? How is that good? And people are defending this. It's just... I don't get it. I really don't get it. But luckily enough, I've recorded Leon's campaign now, and I'm probably going to confirm this now. I'm not doing Chris's or Jake's. And the reason is, I've played through Chris's the other day. That campaign is a fucking joke. And it's a joke for a lot of reasons. And I'm not going to go into why it's a joke mechanically. I'm not going to go into a joke why it's, you know, stylistically a joke, creatively a joke. It isn't hard. It's not hard at all. Compared to Leon's campaign, Chris's campaign is like a tutorial, because nothing grabs you, they've all got guns, and for some reason, you get scraped by the fingernail of a scrubber in China, yet you get shot by a gun from some random Javo, or whatever they call themselves, and it does less damage. Like, one grab on Leon's campaign takes all your life. One bullet on Chris's campaign takes maybe a millimeter of a bar. What the fuck is that? I don't get it. It makes no sense. But the campaign is easy. The boss at the end is fucking easy. Everything about it is easy. And why is it easy? Because it's Call of Duty Evil. That's all it is. It's run and gun, Gears of War cover, shooting dudes with guns. It's bad, it's boring, and I'm not covering it. And if a lot of people want me to cover it and I get enough of a response, I probably will. Because I know I can record it really quickly because it's a piece of piss. But that campaign is not challenging at all. The only challenging thing about Chris's campaign is having the patience to put up with it. It is that bad.
We'll have to worry about Ada later.
And Jake's, I can't speak about Jake's, but I was listening to a guy on a podcast who said Jake's is the easiest campaign out of all of them, and what's the point? Why should I subject myself to this game to make a guide for an easy campaign? It just doesn't seem worth it. When I can actually enjoy this game and do mercenaries and do, you know, the agent hunt stuff, because that is kind of fun and I can enjoy that. And it you know, it takes the bitter taste out of my mouth that this campaign is. This completely pointless, worthless campaign. Thanks for watching. I do apologise if I seem overly negative, guys, but I don't like this game. And if you do like it, that is awesome. You take all the stuff you like about the game and you cherish it, because I fucking wanted to. And this game stabbed me in the back.